All right, welcome to the Welzie Art Podcast. We are doing the second part of this series, the 3 pillars of being a professional artist. And today we are talking about the second pillar, showing your artwork. The first one, so you know, if you haven't seen it, is making your artwork. The second is showing your artwork. And the third is selling your artwork. So if you're doing all these 3 things, you are being a professional artist. So we're kind of gearing this a little bit to the beginner artist, the one in the first stages of getting their act together and starting to make that first sale. So we got Jacob here in the studio, who is an apprentice here with me. I've been doing this for 20 years and Jacob's been doing it for a year. So we're trying to help speed up Jacob's career by this sort of apprenticeship knowledge program. So this is Jacob. Jacob is 1 year into committing to being an artist. He's on his 3rd rendition of his art studio, right?
Yeah.
He's been in 1 group show and has yet to sell a piece.
Yep.
So we're working on that. And yeah, so that's kind of an idea of where Jacob's at with it. So we're kind of doing this to kind of help someone along anywhere they are in their career, really. But we're using Jacob as a good example, right?
Totally. Follow along.
Okay, so the second pillar, we want to talk about presentation and craftsmanship. This is all about your finished product, the quality of a finished product. You know, is it ready to hang? Does it look finished? Is someone going to cut their hands when they pick it up? You know, all of that. Is it signed and titled on the back? It needs to be a professional art piece. If you want to be a professional artist, you need to treat your artwork as like a finished product, you know? So everything from the final glazes to how you sign it, to the signing on the back, to the way it's able to be hung, you know, you want it to look sharp in that person's house without anyone else having to touch it. So that is, that's a big step on showing your artwork, is it needs to be showable. You don't want someone walking up, touching it and it falling apart. You know, you don't want I like to see artwork that you're not sure how it's made. You know, you don't want to walk up to someone and go, oh, I know exactly how they did that. They splattered red and blue on a canvas they got at Kmart, you know? So, making sure that you have the quality product. We have here that you should decide that it's finished, not the painting decide that it's finished for you. You know, you go, okay, now this is done. This is ready. Not, oh, this is good enough. I'm going to just say it's finished, you know, but in reality, there's strings off the back and it's not tidy. You know, saying that's what you are trying to do, that's not going to last for very long. So having that finished product. Do you have anything to say on that, Jacob?
No, I think that really is the first step to showing your work, is have something that is ready to show. Right?
Yeah. And that really gets into the next part of that, which is taking pictures of it. So if you want to get into an art gallery, if you want to get into an art festival, if you want to show your stuff online, you need to have good pictures of it. And you can't take a good picture of a bad piece of art. So make sure your quality is there, and then it'll be easier to take a good picture. If you don't know how to take pictures of your artwork, Google it. The easiest thing that we can tell you in one sentence is take your artwork outside where it's nice and bright and take a photo of it with the best camera that you have. As simple as that. You know, with the phone, you can edit it and crop the corners and do all that stuff. So there's 0 excuses. I used to actually have to develop film. I didn't develop myself, but we'd take photos on film camera. Like, it's crazy. It's so easy now. And yeah, you will eventually learn how to take better photos. It just comes in time. You got to make a lot of art to take a lot of photos to get good at taking photos. You're going to get good at every aspect of this business. So you just kind of have to start somewhere and just know it's not going to be perfect and keep trying to make it perfect. So that's kind of like the showability aspect of the, showing and showability of the showing your work pillar. So on the showing part, there's kind of multiple ways you can go about this. The easiest is doing the markets. like farmers market. There's farmers market everywhere every weekend, and it's usually pretty easy to set up a tent and a table and to start showing your work. This is for the person who hasn't shown any work yet or sold anything before, because chances are you'll probably start selling something at a market slowly but surely. So definitely give that a shot. It's next to nothing to do. The stakes are so low. If it turns out miserable, no one's going to remember it. You'll remember it for the rest of your life, but no one else will remember or care or anything. So give it a go. It doesn't have to be exactly what you're trying to do. Just you have to get yourself out there. It's the first step, moving up from there, after you get your kind of your little market figured out, you kind of learned what other people are doing around you, who's doing what, who's doing good, how they're doing it. You learn you're surrounded by entrepreneurs in those areas. So you'll learn so much for free for doing it and hang out with cool people. Often you can trade for good food. It's really fun. The next step up from there is your night market, which maybe be like a once a month, a first Friday or something like that, where they do some sort of outdoor event where they either provide a tent or you bring your own tent, but those are often really affordable too. Maybe $75, $150 to get in. Not that much money. Farmers market free, or maybe $10, $20. So the night markets, you're going to find that you're going to be able to make a little more money at, because people are, it's more of a nighttime thing. So you might find that people are a little more willing to go out and spend some money, where if they're going to just pick up some lettuce, they might not be in the market for art. But those art nights and stuff are a little more capable of selling more artwork. So like a farmer's market, you'll be stoked to walk away with $300. Night market, $1,500, $2,000 if you're doing it right. And then the next level up from there is the art fair or art festival, where you have to apply to get in. Oftentimes the booths are provided, but you have restrictions on what you can do and what you can't do. But those art fairs are amazing. You can make $15,000. I'm sure there's people who make $50,000 at those art fairs, but the people that are going there are looking to buy art. So your price points are going to be a lot higher than farmer's market, where farmer's market, you're going to have a hard time selling a $400 piece of artwork. Mm-hmm. But an art fair, you'll probably sell a $400 piece of artwork. So it all goes hand in hand. And like the way the growth in the markets is also the growth in how much you're able to produce as an artist, how big your studio space is. So it all kind of everything ties in together. So, you can be at one level here of the pillars and a lower level here with the pillars, but you got to be there and start working on every little aspect to get it going. Galleries are also another route you can go. You will start with getting yourself a portfolio together, and to get a portfolio, you need pictures, and to need pictures, you need a quality piece of artwork. So you get your portfolio together, you have some great pictures, maybe even an original or two that you can bring in to show. From there, you can start doing like group shows, right? Where Jacob just did a group show where it was his first group show. Yay. And you had to put together a portfolio, right? 5 images, write about yourself, and you got in. And what was the event that was going on?
Yeah, so it was for a local nonprofit, and it's called the Art of Trash. And they kind of advertised a call for artists, and I responded with Welzie's encouragement.
Yes, you have to do it.
Yeah, totally. And he was like, if you don't get in the Art of Trash,
you get no more lessons.
Yeah, you get nothing. Like, you got it. It's called Art of Trash. Like, you have to get in. Yeah. And so anyway, but it was really instructive as far as like, oh, suddenly I need to like decide on which pieces to submit, and I need to take pictures of them from these different angles, and I need to describe the materials I'm working with and who I am and why I'm doing this. And I hadn't been faced with those questions in a serious way yet. So it was really instructive to have to submit anything. Yeah,
so getting into those group shows is great. Like you said, with a nonprofit or events, they're out there. Just respond to those calls to artists. After you do like a group show, you do lots of group shows, and then you might do like or maybe even before group shows would be on like cafe walls. Like your local little burrito place or the restaurant. You can little wall space where you can put some up. Coffee shop, great place to start. Kind of from there it goes into the group shows a little more, because you'll be able to be seen by people putting stuff together. They'll see your stuff on a wall, and then you go, oh, I like that artist. Oh, show, so cafe walls, group shows, and then maybe a solo show at stuff, maybe like a little place where it's just going to be you showing your work, and then from there your next step up is like kind of getting into your galleries, where this is going to be one of your hardest leaps of faith, and can be really frustrating going, they take so much of the percentage of the sale. I'm not making anything doing this. It just means your prices are wrong. And this was so hard to hear when I first started doing it. When I put my artwork in the galleries, I was putting on the same prices that I was doing at the night markets. And what happened is I didn't make any money off it after they took their 65% or 70%. And I blamed the gallery, not me. I needed to raise my prices up. I need to be restructuring of the prices on it. Like the stuff I had in there was $170 for original, and there was $100,000 originals next to it, at the Wyland galleries, or $5, $10, $20,000 pieces everywhere. And I was in there at $190. Like I wasn't pricing my point. I wasn't pricing my artwork correctly. Mm-hmm. So, and then from there, your whole game kind of changes, because if you're in art galleries, you might not necessarily have to do the night markets or the farmers market anymore. You can drop that and just do like the galleries and the art fairs, from, having your artwork in a gallery, having your stuff in an art fair, doing like the big art fairs, and then having your online store, you're selling artwork, your stuff's moving, from there, you're dialing in how well your ability to sell it, which is kind of the third pillar that we start talking about. But I think, another aspect of showing your work is the online space. We kind of didn't really touch on that too much. You need pictures and you need quality art. You need to make a sale off of Instagram, you have to have a lot of followers to get that follower that's going to spend money on your website. So as much as I think every artist needs to have their art up online, if you're not already like having your style figured out, your prices figured out, your pieces figured out, you're selling in markets consistently, you maybe be in a gallery or two, like you need to be doing all that stuff to be selling online, because Instagram only fan base with no like real connection, unless your stuff is just amazing and you get really lucky, you can't do it that way. There's artists that do, and if you're one that's only done is sold it on Instagram, please reach out. I want to hear how that story was. But, I kind of can only teach from what I know. And I know the art gallery route and the market route. And that's gotten me to where I am today with having my own gallery and doing all that stuff. So, yeah, I think that's kind of covers showing your work. Do you have any questions about it, Jacob?
Not in particular. I really like everything that you're saying, that you go from making art to like having the finished product and figuring out how to talk about it, right, and present it, is like a whole another step in another craft, right, which is why it's its own pillar distinct from making the art. Is like, oh wow, now I have to like bring it into the world, right? And then seeing the progression of the markets, and then also you can't just get into a gallery, right, without having sold something, right? And so you have to start a portfolio and have like some group shows and have some sales under your belt, and that's shows in your work and the way you present yourself to the gallery. Like a person at a gallery knows who, like walking in, right, they can tell who an artist who sold art and who hasn't, right? I made that mistake. Totally. And so it feels like really sound advice to me.
It's, you have to go through the motions, and why we're talking about this here is so you can kind of hopefully not waste too much time doing stuff that you don't necessarily need to do. Like you don't need to worry about the font used on your online store if you've never done an farmer's market, you know, or, you know, maybe you're already up past it and you never had to do it. And you know, your route to sales were different than this. But I mean, it's kind of like the farmer's market can be the metaphor for like just that super basic level of how to selling something.
Yeah. And even if you're doing like the e-commerce, right, you still need to have a presentable product in a presentable way where people can like find you, you know what you're talking about, you can process sales. Like even if that happens online, you need to like approach people who like vend art online too. Like there's platforms that need to like have proof that what you're doing is real, right? And that's what the showability is. So I think the steps apply even for like e-commerce right now.
One thing I wanted to say too is that the pillar 2, showing your artwork, you know, if that starts with the finished product, remember that your finished product maybe of pillar 1 isn't necessarily all the way finished. You know, like the making sure that the wires are wrapped consistently and really nice on the back. Like that's like starting to come into this showing area. If we're looking at a start to finish an art piece from raw materials, going through the process of being made to finishing, to getting out there in the world, to showing it, to selling it, closing that transaction, and that artwork going on the wall and the artist having their money. That's kind of like the lifespan that we're working with here, right?
Yeah.
And so if pillar 1 is that first part of making art, and pillar 2 is the part of getting out there, and pillar 3 is the sale, right up there at the cusp between pillar 1 and 2 is that your art piece is finished of the art part. Then the craft part is also like kind of sneaks in there. You know, all your stuff's tuned up, ready to go, really nice, really professional, and it's ready to hang on the wall. You know, it's ready for that very last step of the collector putting it on the wall, right? It's ready for that moment. It can go through all that other period ready to go, because you can never get it to that end period without having gone through that step of making it nice and ready to go on a wall, right? So you get that out of the way, you know, you can wrap it up, do whatever you need to do. That piece is finished, ready to sell, you know, or ready to show. And then at the show, it can be sold. It doesn't need to be brought back into the studio. Oh, let me, I forgot to put a hanger on it. It still happens to me today. And it's the worst thing ever. I forgot to sign it and there's no hanger on the back, you know, and that happens in that quality control aspect of showing your work. So kind of a good little tip there on that.
Oh, I think one more thing that we didn't talk about that you like to say in showing your work is the benefit of having criticism. I don't know. Did we touch on
we didn't really talk about that.
I think you might have mentioned that is part of it, but
yeah. So going to the markets, I think, is the best possible thing for you to get criticism about your artwork that is honest, genuine, and true, because the people that walk up to it and check it out don't care about you at all or anything. And like young kids are the best because they just have zero filter. So you're just going to get a really honest opinion of your artwork by being at a booth, at a farmer's market or a night market or an art fair. People are going to come up and you're going to get their honest opinion, whether you like it or not. Your artwork is on full display. You know, it feels like you're standing there with your pants down. It's hard. It's nerve-wracking, but that feedback that you get, if you apply correctly, is going to increase the amount of people that are going to enjoy your art. You know, like an example is one of the markets I did, all my artwork was very just line drawings. I didn't fill in the whites of the eyes of the fish or anything like that. And a kid like 8 or 10 or something came into the booth and was like, "Oh, I like that one with the eyes filled in. I think I did one fish with it filled in." And he said that he liked it better than all the other ones. And that little kid, you know, I started filling in all the whites of the eyes and stuff started selling way better. You know, like it was just, I sold twice as many the following time because just this little detail of like that one little thing. So you can't get that without getting out there in the world. And if you're only basing your stuff off of Instagram, what people comment on Instagram, it's either going to be really negative or really positive. And sometimes neither of those work. You just need like a honest, what they're thinking it is, you know?
Yeah, totally.
You don't need, praise doesn't get you very far. But someone going, I really don't like that. That's
like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're saying it to your face, so they mean it.
Yeah.
More, and then you're directly interacting with your audience, right?
Yeah.
It's not indirect. Yeah.
Well, I hope that this second pillar can help Jacob out. I'm sure if you're a young artist and you're already selling stuff, like this all kind of makes sense, and you're probably stoked that where you're at and what you're doing. I think we can, if you have any questions on this, shoot us an email or get it to us any way possible through the interweb. But, you know, we can go really deeply on a lot of this stuff. I think we'll go pretty deep on art fairs and art festivals. I've done so many of those, and they're super fun, and you can make money at them, and you just learn so much. So there's like a whole chapter in that alone. But I think we will move on to pillar 3.
Yeah.
What do you think, Jacob?
Let's do it.
Should we close this one out?
Yeah, let's close it out.
All right. Thank you for listening. We appreciate it. We hope that you are growing as an artist and enjoying this. You want to listen all the way to here if you didn't like it. So shoot us a question. We'll answer it. It'd be awesome to have a list of questions here from people wanting to know stuff.
Fun. Some more engagement. Other people care. What?
Yeah, what? Someone else likes art too? Oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you later. Aloha.
Signing off.
You.